what do you tell your team after what happened Saturday? Because you did a lot of things well, but obviously the turnovers were glaring.
We just talked, yesterday we had our team meeting and went through all the film and all those things and just kind of looking back at the last 4 games of just kind of maybe, or just let's just put those 4 weeks behind us. All right, we got 7 more games left. Let's hit the reset button. Let's get back on track, doing things the way that we normally do things here and, just get better. Be confident, believe in yourself, I believe in the skills that God gave you and then continue to work hard every single day and, let's see what happens. You can play your best game and still lose, right? And sometimes you can play your worst game and still win. And but it's just the things that they do, from here on out to improve this team and improve themselves, and hopefully, that makes a difference in what we're doing. I know they had a team meeting last night. I don't have any idea what that involves. It's the players themselves. I'm trying to figure out. Probably just communicating about what they need to change, and how to fix things. And we got a good group of kids. I mean, they work hard, and they always battled. We just had, too many turnovers in that game to really come back from.
When you break down the film, I mean, it appeared, you played well minus the turnovers. Is that the case?
It was, just watching it. I mean, I thought defensively played really, really well, except for the 98-yard drive. We gave up a couple third downs in that situation, and probably 3 or 4, that shouldn't have been given up just by guys not making plays. And then offensively, we have 3 chances in the red zone to put points on the board, and we fumble the ball away. And then, we snapped the ball over the punter's head and gave up a safety. You take any of those things away, we win that ball game. Just one of them, and we still win that ball game. But if we keep all those points, we win that game, handedly.
Losing 5 fumbles, how outside the norm is that for you as a coach? Can you recall any time in the past losing that many fumbles in a game?
No, as many times as the ball was on the ground in that game, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I really haven't. I mean, we lost 5. Probably should have lost 2 more, with the punts. And then the ball over, snap the ball over the punter's head. I've never seen anything like that in a game in my entire life. That's why, I guess, the game of football, there's always a game of firsts, and that's probably a first for me. We usually carry the ball very well, in practice especially, and I guess we got to hone on that a little bit more, just about traffic. When you're in traffic, really being sure to get 2 hands on the ball and keeping that thing high and tight and secure, and always expect for somebody to knock it out. Because, when you watch the film, it wasn't very much that really knocked those balls out. Maybe just one little tap here, tap there, and those balls were on the ground. There was even a point I asked the official to let me see the ball because I just wanted to see, like, okay, is this a slick ball or is it okay? And every one of them were fine. So it's just, a little bit more thought needs to go into how we carry the ball, and a little more understanding of when there's going to be contact, and being able to take on that contact with the ball in our hand. And there's a couple other times in that game as well that we watched where guys had the ball and they weren't carrying it properly. So I don't know if it's just stressing through the week of how physical we want them to play this game, and that kind of went out because they're trying to get extra yards and run through tackles, or maybe it was just a lack of focus on their part.
Kind of follow up on that. Was it technique? Is there technique you teach to try to hold on to the football? How do you guys go about that?
Yeah, every position group we talk about it, and every position group explains to the kids how we want it. Everybody always says high and tight, but there's all kinds of pressure points: your hand, your chest, your ribs, your forearm, your bicep. There's all kinds of pressure points where you try to keep that ball as tight as you possibly can. And even in the open field, most times you guys see it, they're high and tight and just have the one arm pump, and this one just barely moves. We were moving way too much with the ball in our hands, so it's just something we'll stress in practice this week. We'll get out the bullet arms and try to punch the ball out of the kids' hands. And when we're doing team stuff and scaling and things like that, the same thing with our scouts, trying to punch the ball out. And when we go, offense versus defense, we'll do the same thing. Really try to strip that ball out and take it away from our ball carriers. So we'll emphasize it again this week, but that's something that it's not like we don't emphasize that. That's something that is emphasized every single day, and before every pregame meal, we emphasize that as well, about ball security, the importance of it, and not turning the ball over. So, I don't know if it's just a lack of focus on that, or just I don't know how that happened, but hopefully it doesn't happen again.
So is it a case of like you said, you have to just keep emphasizing what you've been preaching since day one, and there really isn't something different that you can pull out to try to do, or is it just going back to the basics and emphasizing that?
Really just going back to the basics and emphasize it, and then just during our individual drills, like running backs going through bags or something like that, you have a coach sitting there with trying to punch it out, or players trying to punch it out, or we have these bullet arms, which are long pads that attach to your hand, and you try to punch them out as they're going through the bags and doing different drills, and you do it with your receivers as well, and all those things. So those are drills you can do, and then just trying to rake at it, through drills as well, instead of punching it, trying to rip it out to make sure they have that ball security. And but while you're going through the bags, we're always emphasizing, ball security, high point it, keep it tight, keep the pressure. And so those are just things our kids really got to focus on. So, but we'll work on a lot this week. We're really going to have our defense really try to strip the ball from our offensive guys, and I think that will help, make it aware to them that this is a problem and we need to get it taken care of.
You mentioned physicality earlier. Did you feel this team play a little more physical Saturday?
I thought so. I mean, when you really look at the entire game, I thought we were more physical, but of course for Coach Brown, it's never physical enough, right? I mean, there's still some plays in there where we could have, given it a little bit better shot, or ran through a kid a little bit more, or dominated the line of scrimmage. But I really do feel like we took care of the line of scrimmage, on both sides of the ball. I really feel like defensively we ran downhill pretty well and made good tackles, except for a couple missed angles here and there. And then offensively, I thought we ran harder than we have before. So we just need to keep emphasizing that, and hopefully it continues to get better, and hopefully our kids see, the more physical you play, the more success you're going to have.
What did you say in the locker room right after the game, and what was the team mood like?
I just went through our whole culture thing of what the culture is here at Fort Hays State University, and our very first thing is, we talk about being champions, and for each letter, I have a different word for each letter, and I basically just went through that entire thing, and is that who you guys are right now? Is this what the culture you're living up to? And a lot of it's just ownership and accountability, and and understanding what it takes to win ball games, and have they paid the price to win ball games, or are they just trying to go through the motions and get through practices, and then that's how they play on Saturday as well. So just again, taking a look at the mirror. Didn't lose control one bit, just try to stay calm and collected, and the main thing is they have to stay together through this time right now, because this being 1-3, it's tough, and it's hard to stay motivated, but to lean on one another, to support one another, to hold each other accountable, and that we're in this all together, coaches, players, trainers, this whole staff and everybody as one. We were doing this together, and we got to fight, and we got to battle, and we got to scrap, and let's hit the reset button and start over. And we got 7 games left, so we're just going to kind of consider it a 7-game season and see where it goes from there.
What do you do to take, remembering for the players that were here from last year, remembering how you had all those close losses? Is there anything you do to try to emphasize to the team to make sure you don't repeat what happened last year, or is there act in the back of people's minds or anything like that?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I don't know if we just stress our kids out too much to how important every little thing is, and so sometimes maybe they're afraid to make mistakes, so they don't make the plays that they're supposed to make. But every Monday, during our team meeting, the start of every team meeting, we have a thing called impact plays that everyone that participated in that game is here at this meeting, and they're watching the film, and it's either a play that either helped us or a play that hurt us. And hopefully our kids learning from that. And sometimes it's really, really good plays, and sometimes it's really, really bad plays, or sometimes it's just one guy not playing hard, and that one guy cost us a good play on that play. So we talk about it a little bit, but you don't want to emphasize it too much, because then I think kids start to stress and then start playing tight, and then they don't go out there and perform at the level that they're supposed to. But I think it's always in the back of their mind. But to me, I just want these kids to go out there right now and have fun again and enjoy it, because I think when you're having fun and you're enjoying it, good things usually happen, because you usually have some excitement, you have some energy, and you love what you're doing. And right now you're doing it for each other. So let's go with these 7 games, and let's see what happens, and let's just move forward and learn from our mistakes. Even though I want to try to forget about those first 4 games, it's always going to be there. But I think they understand. We can. If we play well, we can beat anybody. But it's just the same way. We make mistakes. Anybody can beat us as well, and that's just how this conference is. So our kids really got to lock in this week, focus, and get themselves better. And hopefully we come away with some W's here in the next 7 games.
Any update on Chance and his ability for Saturday?
It'll be the same thing this week. You know, he's starting to look better, but I just don't know if he's 100% quite ready to do it yet. So we're going to continue to, practice him this week, put him through some more drills just to kind of see, his mobility and how he's moving. If we feel like he's good enough, we'll let him go. But if it's one of those things, again, where we're just still not 100% sure on how he's feeling, because, of course the kid's going to tell us, just being Chance, that he's ready, and he's going to do some things in practice that it's hurting him, and he tries to hide it here and there. But I think as a coaching staff, we really just got to evaluate and see how he moves, and if he can still push off that leg and throw the deep balls and different things like that. So then we'll find out a big chunk of that today. We'll kind of today we'll determine a lot with him and where he's at. But I still feel very comfortable with Jack being back there as well, and even incorporating Ethan to the mix as well.
Is it fair to say that he's closer to being able to resume action?
Yeah, he's closer. Right after Northwest, he wasn't nowhere near it. And as each week goes on, he gets a little bit closer and a little bit closer here and there. So, we're hoping for the best this week, that we hope we get him back. But, we've got to talk with Nate, talk with the doc, just to make sure that, everybody's comfortable and on the same page and knowing that he's really, truly ready to go.
So the starter for Saturday, how would you characterize that on Tuesday afternoon?
It's basically how practice goes today for Chance is really what's going to really determine it, how he moves and the things that he does. And, we're going to try to do some different individual drills to see if he's, capable of doing those things and being able to escape and all that stuff right now. And if he's not, we'll go with Jack. But if he is, we'll continue to practice him through the week, and then he'll be our guy on Saturday. But if he's not, I'm not going to put a kid out there and put him in danger, of getting hurt worse.
Speaking of quarterbacks, going up against Kearney, really good team, obviously, with a really good dual threat quarterback. The challenges facing that type of player in the team overall.
Just T.J. Davis, he's just a tremendous football player. He's very smooth and very athletic and, very fast. And the crazy thing is his arms just became as good as his legs. And that's something he's really worked on as a young man to improve his game. And, he is a true weapon. And, if we can take him out of the game by not letting him run and scramble for big plays and just forced him to continue to throw, I think we've got a good chance to win this ball game. But they do have a very good tailback, and they got very good wide receivers as well. And, their O-line does a good job of protecting TJ. And, so offensively they're solid, they're strong, they're tough. And, we just got to find a way to contain him, keep him in the pocket. And even though you do that, he's going to make some plays. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. And it's just a matter of when it's going to happen, because he's just that tremendous of a football player. So we got to eliminate his big plays. If we can eliminate those, we'll have a good chance. And defensively, they're just very solid. They don't give up a lot of big plays. They keep everything in front. Do a good job of getting hands on receivers. Run a little bit different of a defense than most people see, the 3-man front with different linebackers, coming from here and there in different areas. So, we just got to get our line coached up and get our receivers and backs ready to understand where the holes might be for, in the passing game. And, again, we have to establish the run game, which I thought we did last week. But this week, just hold on to the ball after we establish that run game. But they're a tough team. They're 3-1 for a reason. And, could be possibly and probably should be 4-0, but there's a reason that they're 3-1 right now. It's because they're pretty darn good.
Last year was obviously a remarkable win, the way you came back. Does that have any residual effect going into this week, you think, for either team?
They remember it, right? And a lot of those guys that are on this team right now, for them, we're part of that, and so we have a few of those as well. So, you just tell your guys, hey, they're gunning for you. They're going to remember last year and what happened, and you need to make sure that you prepare and you get yourself ready, because they're going to be gunning for you and blazing for you, and they're going to give everything they got to make sure that doesn't happen again. And they're probably going to try to do that to us, right? And but we can't allow that to happen.
Does this feel like a rivalry game? I know it was for years, and the conference changed, and now their back, and this is what has happened in last year's game. Is this still kind of like a rivalry game, like maybe Washburn Florence?
Yeah, as the years have gone on, it's just, the games have gotten tighter and tighter. Coach Lynn's done a great job of building that program, and the games have gotten closer and closer. And last year was a good example of that. I mean, there's probably the last 3 years they've been pretty tight games. So, it's one of those games that we're out here in western Kansas and Nebraska, and there's a lot of recruiting that goes on in Colorado, and so a lot of that goes into it as well. And we recruited a lot of their kids, and they recruited a lot of our kids, excuse me, as well. So it is kind of a rival game now. It's the easiest drive for both of us, and so now with both teams being pretty darn good now, it's really turned into a true rivalry game.
I think Northwest Missouri had 4 turnovers and lost last week. Does that say how tough this conference is? Stuff like that happens?
Yeah, top to bottom, but anytime you turn the ball over that many times, it's hard to win a ball game, and it gives the other team momentum. So, and then when the team has momentum, good things usually happen. So, but top to bottom, you look across the board, it's a tough conference. So you got to be ready to play each week, no matter what, and every little thing can hurt you. And those little mistakes like that is what is going to cost you a ball game in this conference.